Okay, so we should have our reference sheets out, and you'll notice on your reference sheet that we've been able to ignore for so long. Now there's actually a reason to have it out, okay? One of the formulas on here is what we're finally learning about today, and that's slope-intercept form. This is like, when you think of algebra, or like someone like me thinks of algebra, I think of slope-intercept form. Like, that's where my brain goes, like solving equations, slope-intercept form. This is a method of graphing lines. We've already done a couple different methods. We did using a table of values, right? We have picked x values and plugged it in, solved for y. We did intercepts. You plug in 0 for x, you plug in 0 for y, simplify graph. Slope-intercept form is probably the most common method, and here it is right here, slope-intercept form. It's called slope-intercept form for a reason. It's made up of two things, a slope and a y-intercept, okay? M is slope. B is y-intercept. There's only two numbers. One is the slope, one is the y-intercept. So here's slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and then here's an example of an equation that's in that form. So looking at that slope-intercept form, we should now be able to say m. Now m is just the letter they use to mean slope. So from here on out, when you hear m, you think slope, which we worked with on Friday. So if you were absent Friday, you might not know what we're talking about. You need to watch that video. M is -2, and b is 7. M is slope, b is y-intercept. And y-intercept, we already know what an intercept is. It's where the graph crosses that axis, in this case the y-axis. So right there, 7, right? That makes sense. And we'll learn more about how to graph with the slope tomorrow. Today we're not doing any graphing. We're just playing with slope-intercept form, okay? But slope, as we talked about on Friday, was like the tilt of a line, okay? The slope, think about the slope of a hill or something, slope of a mountain. It's how steep it is, the line, okay? So on your reference sheet, very first one, there's equations of line. We actually did, for a minute, talk about standard form of an equation, but right above it is okay? So you don't have to memorize anything that's on here. You don't have to memorize, okay? Eventually, we will work with everything on here, and everything on here is always going to be given to you for tests, quizzes, homework, EOC, module tests, everything, okay? So anything that's on here does not have to be memorized, but you have to know what they are and how to work with them. And our first one is slope-intercept form. So you guys start imprinting it in your brain throughout this lesson because we use it all the time. Y equals mx plus b. So the first type of problem we're going to do, really simple, guys. We're going to be given two numbers and asked to put it in slope-intercept form. Like literally just figuring out which one's the m and which one's the b, and you just plug it in, okay? So looking at this question, write an equation in slope-intercept form. Oh, I know what that is. That's that y equals mx plus b formula for the line with a slope, m is slope, of 4/7 and a y-intercept of 5. You need to know m and b connect to those words, okay? And we don't need to do all that stuff. Just plug it in. So it would be y equals 4/7 x plus 5. That's it. Like there's no work, there's no calculator. It's literally just learning and knowing where those two numbers go and plugging them into the equation, okay? It's so easy that we might complicate it, all right? Look at this next one. Write an equation for the line with a slope of -5 and a y-intercept of 12. Write it. Write it. Don't wait for me. You guys can do this. Miley, can you tell me what you got, sweetie? Y equals, what's going to come after the equal sign, Miley? If you don't know. Good. Then What comes after the negative 5? So I'm going to write plus 1 right now. What is she forgetting? Or she said 12, not 1. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. She was right about the 12. But there's something else she's missing? Yeah, the x. Negative 5x plus 12, right? The x and the slope go together. Slope is always hanging out with x. That number that's attached to x is your slope. That's how you can tell the difference, okay? If the 12 was negative, you just have a minus there, okay? It would have been negative 5x minus 12, okay? So if a y-intercept is negative, you'll just put a negative or minus in front of it. Easy, right? Just plugging numbers into the equation. Good, everybody? Yes? Good talking to you. Next example. So we're doing 3 examples today, okay? That's not you guys, that's pre-calc. That's one problem in my pre-calc class today. They were not loving today's lesson too much. So we're doing 3 examples today. Example 1 we just did, I think you guys found that to be easy. Example 3 is very similar to example 1, just in a word problem. The only work we have to really show is in the problems like example 2, okay? Now listen, I gave you 2 of these in your homework that you have to do. And you've done these before, you just don't realize what you were doing, but you've done these before. I'll explain in a minute. So when you get to the homework and you have to do these, you need to show the work. So maybe show the work really well here, pay attention really well here, and that way when you do get to the homework, you're not like, I don't know what to do. You can go back and look at your steps here. One thing I don't know if you guys realize, and maybe it's my fault, I haven't really pointed it out, when we do our homework, in front of the directions, it tells you what example it goes with. So example 1 is like what we just did, is these types. Example 2, there's 2 of them in here that you're going to have to do, are just like example 2. So anytime you're like stuck on the homework, you can always go back and look at the example that I did. So I'll always do the example with you that goes with that homework problem. Okay. So what it wants us to do is take this equation and put it in slope-intercept form. Okay, so first thing is we have to know what slope-intercept form is, right? Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Again, you don't have to like memorize it because it's on here, but it doesn't say this is slope-intercept form. So you have to just be like, I know it's on here somewhere. Oh yeah, there's the one. Okay? But I think we're going to work with it enough that you're going to probably memorize it. So guys, this is the types of problems that we do where you have to rearrange the equation. You have to get a letter by itself. What letter do we want to get by itself in this example? What letter? Y. Because the equation was that y equals mx plus c. Y is by itself in our final answer. Okay? Is it by itself right here? No. So who first am I going to move to the other side? 11x. We take the whole thing and move it to the other side. How do we do it? Subtract. Why not add? You're right. It's subtract. Why not add? Or let's say it like this. Why are we subtracting? Because it's a positive 11, and a positive 11 minus 11 is 0. They cancel out. If you did plus 11, you'd get 22x. We don't want that. All right, so look at what's left. There's a negative 4y equals. Now, guys, you can't combine these. I can't pick up my calculator and do negative 2 minus 11 because one of them has an x and one of them doesn't. They are not like terms. So I'm just going to write it. Now, when we've done these rearranging problems before together, it didn't matter which one you put first. You could put negative 2 minus 11x or negative 11x minus 2. But if you want something in a very specific form, like we do, we're going to put the number and the x together first. So that's no big deal, just being mindful of putting that before that. Okay? So in these types of problems, it does matter. You do want the right-hand side of the equation to look like the right-hand side of it. All right, one more step to get y by itself. Nope, not subtract 4, not add 4. What? What is it? Natalie? Nope, we want to get y by itself. Who needs to leave the y alone? Who? Negative 4, right? To get y alone, negative 4 has to go. What does it mean when you have a number and a letter right next to each other? You will divide. Because right now it's multiplication, right? -4 and a y next to each other means multiplication. Now, when we've done this before, we made a big fat fraction. But here we're going to actually simplify each of these. So I'm going to just take an extra quarter of a second and put the divide by -4 underneath each number, okay? Now I'm going to show you something on your calculator that I don't know if you've seen. So you want to pay attention, maybe pick your calculator up as well. So over here, I have y equals. And really all I have to do now is simplify those, right? Y is by itself. I need to simplify these two. So guys, if you don't watch anything else, watch this. So to simplify that fraction, okay, all I'm going to do is put it in my calculator as a fraction. Watch. 11 negative fraction key 4. Watch what happens when I go to hit the negative. It took the other negative away. That's because two negatives cancel each other out. And it's telling you 11/4. But watch what happens when I hit equals. What the heck is that? What the heck that is 2 and 3/4. It's your calculator's way of writing a mixed number, 2 and 3/4. We don't want a mixed number for slope. You either want a whole number like 5 or a fraction. One number on top, one number on bottom. And there's a button on here that will change it to that for you, okay? Look, guys, above your fraction key in like yellow, it's D/C, okay? ABC is like a mixed number. So that's what we have on our screen. We want to switch it to just one number on top, one number on the bottom. Any of the stuff on your calculator that is yellowish, that yellow color, means you have to hit shift first. So all I have to do is hit shift. See, it even says shift up in the top left corner. And then the ABC button, and it'll switch it to an improper fraction there. So that means that is the simplest way to write that fraction, okay? Let's do the -2 over -4. So 2 negative fraction 4, it's going to take that negative away, right? Because two negatives make a positive. When I hit equals, it simplified it for us, 1/2. So 2/4 is going to be 1/2. Since it's positive, I put a plus sign. So if I asked you what the slope was, you'd say, oh, that's the number in front of the x. If I asked you what the y-intercept was, you'd say, oh, that's that plain old number at the back. There's only two numbers, one slope and one is the y-intercept. The number with the x is the slope, okay? So I did one of these with you. I'm going to actually do a whole nother one with you. So write down this problem here. It's just the check. I'm going to use this space. So you will have two examples in your notes to go back and look at when you are working on the homework. If you ask for help on those problems, I will be happy to help you, but I will make sure you have these, I will point you out to these steps to help you get started, okay? So it says to write this mess in slope-intercept form. So you go, okay, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. That tells me I need to get the y by itself. Who has to move to the other side first? Who am I going to deal with first? But I want you to say it like what it really is. It's not 16. Yes, negative 16x has to go. How do we make it go, Alan? Add it, right? So we want to cancel it out. So you have to have two different signs. Add 16x to this side, add 16x to this side. Oh, sorry. Okay. So we did that so it would cancel. Don't forget, there is a -4 and a y left. Okay, now we cannot add these two together, right? One has an x and one doesn't. And any other time, you could put the -56 first or the 16x first. It technically doesn't matter. But we want our answer to look like this. So that means we're going to put the 16x first. Minus 56. We good with that? Charlene, do you know what I would do next? No, you're not Charlene. Thank you. Yep, divide by -4. Remember, good. Y has to get by itself, so -4 has got to go, right? So a -4 and a y right next to each other is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. We're just going to divide each of our terms by -4. -4 divided by -4, those cancel. They're 1, so we just have a 1y, but we never write a 1 in front of our y. And then I'm going to go right to my calculator and do 16 fraction key 4 negative equals. Okay, that makes sense because 16 divided by -4 is -4. Don't forget the x. It would be wrong if you forgot the x. Okay, then 56 negative fraction key 4 negative. And of course the negatives disappeared because 2 negatives make a positive. Hit equals and we get 14.